Hi, this is just a brief tutorial about how to solve or how to work through Unit 5, Section 6 of Module 1. So the first thing you do again is read the statement out loud. Divide the negative 1 minus 8i by negative 3 plus I, and then again it says write the verbal statement as an expression, so you're just supposed to type that in. Then simplify completely and write your final answer in the form a plus bi. So the first thing that you're going to want to do again is make it a fraction, and you have negative 1 minus 8i, and then it's divided by negative 3 plus I. From here, you're going to multiply, and you're going to multiply by the form of 1 as it did as you're going through the step-by-step. And the reason that you do that is you're trying to multiply by the conjugate. And we talked briefly about conjugates in class, and you saw it as you read through the unit. But the conjugate is you specifically want to look at the bottom. Instead of being negative 3 plus I, you want it to be minus I. So you're always multiplying by the conjugate, which is just the opposite sign. And whatever you multiply by the bottom, you have to also multiply by the top. And so that's why it's saying a power of 1, because any number, whether it's real or complex, divided by itself is 1. And so now they want the final result. And again, the final result would just be two fractions times each other. So I'm just going to put the fraction button in here, close that because it's kind of annoying, and do negative 1 minus 8i. And then the top would be times negative 3 minus I. On the bottom it would be negative 3 plus I times negative 3 minus I. Oops, lowercase I. So we're just multiplying, and from here now you're going to have to do some distributing, and you distribute the top or the bottom. So distribute, and it depends wherever you want to start first. I like to start on the bottom. And so then I'm just going to FOIL. I can decide to use the scratch paper if I want. If I use the scratch paper, it's just going to have me fill out the boxes. Again, this is negative 3, this is I, negative 3, and this is negative I. And negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. And negative times a positive is a negative. So then they just want you to simplify it and write that in here. So I would have 9, and then what I notice is this one and that one cancel, so I just have minus I squared. From here I can do a few things. I can distribute the top, or what I notice is an I squared. We just did that in the few sections before. I can simplify by the powers of I. And I see an I squared, and I squared according to our table was negative 1. So they're just plugging in I squared and replacing that with negative 1. And then I'm going to simplify my signs on the bottom. So that's just now 9 plus 1. And I can combine like terms on the bottom. And now I know that my denominator is just 10. Now I'm going to have to do the same thing to the top. I'm going to start with foiling, or in this case foiling is just called distributing. I'm going to distribute the whole entire top. Again, I could use scratch paper if I want to. If I use the scratch paper, this would be negative 1, negative 8i, negative 3, negative I, and then just multiply. So I have a positive 24i, and I have a positive 8i squared. Again, they'll want you to simplify your answer here. So I have 3. This time things don't cancel, so I have plus 25i plus an 8i squared. Now again, I'm going to simplify my power of I, that I squared. I know that I squared is negative 1, so it replaces that negative 1. I am going to perform multiplication on just those two, and I would get minus 8. I think you could also choose to simplify the signs, and that's what I'm going to do next. Simplify signs. Now I can combine like terms. If I combine like terms, I'm going to combine the 3, I have to highlight both of them. I have to combine on top, it says select the expression, so the top expression has it, and then that would be negative 5 plus 25i. From here you can try to click I'm done, but it's going to tell you there's more work to do, because what you want to do is you want to you can do a few different things. You can simplify your fractions, you can separate your fractions. I'm going to see if I can simplify my fractions and see if it lets me. Nope, it doesn't let me do that because I have to simplify it first. So what I'm doing here is, because dividing by a tenth is the same as, or dividing by 10 is the same as multiplying by a tenth, that would be me isolating the coefficient. I could distribute it back in, just a few different ways to simplify it from here. So let's do. So like I said, there's multiple things that we can go through and do, and I'm choosing to, and I don't even know if I clicked it yet, perform multiplication. So I know that if I multiply this times 5, I'm going to get negative 1/2, and if I multiply this, I'm going to get 25 over 10. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, now I can simplify my fraction. I can't simplify the negative 1/2, but I can simplify this one, because 25 and 10 are both divisible by 5. So I would get 5 over 2. Now it's written in the form a plus bi, and I am done. Oh, the other thing that it likes, sorry, it doesn't like the I as part of the fraction. So again, I'm going to have to go over here, and you have to isolate the coefficient. Now you're done. They really want the number and the I separated. And again, that was the choice of isolate the coefficient. If you have other questions, just rewatch the video or email.